And now,
recovery doesn't start tomorrow.
calling all angels.
Recovery starts right now. And here to help is Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all you angels. Now. Calling all angels. Now. Calling all you angels.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Rated R for Recovery. That is Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com is our website. Also, we have a Facebook page. We have a couple of them. We actually have a Facebook group and then a Facebook page. Like us on the Facebook and pass us around to your friends and family. You can hear us each week live on YouTube. If you would be so kind to take out your phones, if you're at home right now watching and haven't done this already, go to the YouTube page and hit that like and subscribe button. I know everybody, every time you look at YouTube, people say that all the time. Hey, like and subscribe. I don't know what it does because it's technical and I'm not a technical guy. But it does something, and we need all the help we can get. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Oh, by the way, you can hear us on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and, of course, our partner, one of our partners, Podcast Playground, brought to you each week by JCI Painting Solutions, The Next Step Dual Diagnosis Treatment Center, Brian Edwards, Criminal Defense Attorney, White Sands Treatment Center, Shamrock Bail Bondsman, Phoenix House, Celebrate Recovery, and, of course, our partner in this adventure is Kimmies Recovery Zone.
Woo!
As you can tell by the smattering of applause that you just heard, we do this show in front of a live audience each and every week at 507 Center Road in Fort Myers. So for those of you listening in Australia, it might be a bit of a drive, but if you're listening in Lee County, Charlotte County, or Collier County, come on down, check us out, have a cup of coffee, have a piece of, what is that I had earlier? A scone?
That was a scone.
A scone?
A scone.
I don't know what a scone is. Sounds like a fishing thing, a scone. I don't know. Anyway, I'm an addict and alcoholic. My name is John. Welcome to the show, everybody. Our normal co-host, which is Joy, is a little bit under the weather, so we'd wish her well tonight. And we have a good team of people that work on the Rated R for Recovery team. And one of the champions of this team is this young lady to my left, your right, and let her introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Eileen, and I'm an addict.
Hi,
Sue,
Eileen.
feel better.
Yes, we want Joy to feel better. Yes. Would you please read our mission statement, Eileen?
I would.
Please do.
Absolutely. Rated R for Recovery is a recovery-based, faith-driven program bringing hope, healing, and restoration to individuals and families impacted by addiction. Through interviews, sharing information, and entertainment, we strive to be a catalyst for change for all those who wish to recover.
Very good. So now we also have people that listen on a regular basis from all over the United States and Canada, actually, because Jim L., hi Jim, you listen every week from Toronto. My cousin Bonnie, of course, it's good to have family that listens, and I believe my sister Kathy from Bolton, Massachusetts is listening tonight. So we'd like to say hi to them and hi to everybody out there that's listening. Let's get right to the show, though, ladies and gentlemen. This is a serious matter. Life and death recovery is what we do here. And I'm not saying that we individually go out and save lives, but Kimmies Recovery Zone does, and they do it through this little box here called Narcan. They are the distributor in Lee, Collier, and Charlotte County, getting these into the schools, into public libraries, into the hands of first responders, and this little box saves people's lives, and it's called Narcan. So, and Kimmies Recovery Zone is a champion of that. We'll hear more about that in the second segment when we bring the founder of Kimmies Recovery Zone on the show to do our second segment called Kimmie's Corner. Right now, I'm pretty much rambling.
Yeah, you are.
I am. So let's welcome John to the show, everybody. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, John, welcome to the show. Where are you from originally, John?
I'm from Massachusetts originally.
Did I know that?
I don't know.
Do you know I am? I am from a town called Framingham, Massachusetts, 18 miles west of the city of Boston.
Okay. I lived in Middleborough and Carver.
Cava?
Yes.
How come you didn't say Cava?
Well, we moved around a lot growing up, and I lived down here through my formative years, and then went to high school up there.
What are the formative years? What do you consider formative years?
I'm not really sure. It just sounded good.
Sounded good.
Sounds really good.
Eileen, do you know what formative years are?
I think that's when you're developing into the person that you're going to become.
Where did you go to high school, John?
Carver High School.
In Cava, Mass.
Cava.
So you're in recovery from what?
From addiction. I mean, I was addicted to more. You know,
When did
at
it
the
start?
at the end of it, it was meth and fentanyl. But throughout my life, it's been alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, anything I could get my hands on to change the way I feel about myself or my state of mind, to numb myself, to numb my feelings. I was going to take it and run with that.
When did this all start?
The first time I used drugs, I was probably 13 years old. It was marijuana and some pills I probably found in my parents' medicine cabinet.
Wait a minute, you found pills and you just decided, not knowing what they were, they could have been bare chewable aspirin for all you knew, or they could have been a heavy-duty narcotic, but you just found them and took them?
Well, I knew what they were. I knew they were painkillers, and
Very good, okay.
So I was very interested in the drug lifestyle at a very young age. So I in high school, I looked like my heroes were Kurt Cobain, Bradley Knoll from Sublime, heroin addicts. You know, I looked at that
Role models, in other
heroin lifestyle as like some kind of something to look up to.
Okay, and so how did this progress? You started with weed. I mean, a lot of people say marijuana is a gateway drug. For me, alcohol was the gateway drug. It was the first mind-altering substance I ever took. So you started smoking weed and taking some pills, and then 13 years old, kind of young. How did it progress?
The progression for me was I got caught smoking weed. My parents caught me, and they started drug testing me.
Huh.
And I knew I couldn't smoke weed anymore, and so I started taking ecstasy because I knew it would be out of my. I researched it on the internet and realized it would be out of my system in 48 hours. So I was buying ecstasy pills at the mall, like my sophomore, junior year of high school.
At the mall, like at Macy's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, from drug dealers at
Yeah.
the mall.
Okay. I was just kidding. Sorry. All right. So okay. So so now, and ecstasy. It might have been. I'm not sure. But was ecstasy even tested for on the drug tests your parents were using?
No, it wasn't. Not back then. It was how they figured out I was on ecstasy is they gave me a drug test and I failed for every single thing on the panel, like meth, coke, heroin.
Really?
Yeah.
Because all that stuff made up the ecstasy? Is that why?
I mean, that's what they say. It was all in the pill. So, I mean, I wasn't taking cocaine and heroin and meth. I mean, I was just taking a pill, you know, and it was supposed to be ecstasy, but it was all these other drugs in the pill.
So Eileen and I worked at a place years ago where we tested for drugs and alcohol, and at one point ecstasy wasn't on the panel, correct?
Right, correct.
Okay, and now hearing John say that he tested positive for all these other drugs, is that your experience in the drug testing world, that you would find people testing positive for all these things when I shouldn't say all they were doing, when they were doing ecstasy?
Yes, because drug dealers are very savvy. So they make stuff, they put all different things into pills. So like you said something perfectly. I researched on what wasn't going to be on a drug test. I did the same thing in my active addiction. I would find pills that looked like the other pills when I wanted to travel and put them in my so we could get through the airport because they weren't my prescriptions. Drug dealers are good about putting all different things. That's why the big thing right now, if you really think about it, is the one pill can kill. You see the billboards all over. Drug Free Lee, is a big sponsor of that, and it's very, very sad, unfortunately, that they put all different drugs into one pill. They're pressed pills.
So, John, what were the consequences to that drug test when you pop for everything?
Well, I was already in therapy. My parents already had me in therapy, and they basically called my counselor, and they were like, well, either he's a total junkie or he's taking ecstasy, is what the counselor told my parents. So I admitted to what I was doing, and you know, the drug tests just kept coming. I was grounded. I lost my vehicle. I mean, I was pretty much secluded to my home except for when I went to school and work.
Kind of on house arrest?
Yeah, pretty much. And so I found other ways to get high. You know, I started drinking Robitussin to get high. You know, anything I could get my hands on. You know, I did my little research on the internet and found out, oh, Robitussin will make me trip. So I started taking that.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. You said it perfectly at the very beginning of the show when you said, I'd do anything to get out of the way I was feeling.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
I just never felt good about myself. I never felt like I fit in. I never felt like I belonged anywhere. I was always really insecure, self-conscious. I always felt less than, you know. I had very low self-esteem, and you know, I was a troubled teenager. You know, I was not in a good place at a young age.
At this point in your life, how old are you now when this house arrest, these parents are really coming down on you? Are you into you'd had a car at this point, you said, so you were at least 16 at this point.
Yeah, 16, 17 years old.
And where did it go from here? How did this, so, nobody can get me sober. Nobody can get me clean and sober, and I couldn't get me clean and sober. So all your efforts that your poor mother and father, because that's how we do it, the biggest devastation to addiction is that I hurt the people I love and that love me. And I did that over and over again. So where did it go from this point?
I mean, the addiction progressed. You know, I overdosed on Dramamine when I was 17 years old, and I was hospitalized over it. And my parents put me into treatment. So I was in treatment at the end of my senior year of high school. I almost didn't graduate high school. And that was kind of like my first step, like dipping my toes into like recovery. Like that's when I first started getting my toes in the water with AA meetings, NA meetings. But I was young and I wasn't ready. I was coming to these meetings, and I was sitting in these meetings with old men, and they were talking about that they had lost their home, they had lost their wives, they had lost custody of their kids, they had been to jail, all these things, and I was like, that's not me, you know, that hasn't happened to me, you know, like, yeah. I'm not that bad, you know, I'm just a kid trying to have fun, you know, like, I'd do anything I could to justify, like, what I thought was, I was searching freedom, right? Sure. Freedom from control, from, you know, I always had a problem with authority. You know, and I didn't want to listen to anybody, you know, and you could tell me 100 times, don't touch the stove, it's going to burn your hand, and I'm going to keep touching it until I figure out on my own that stove is burning my hand.
Were there a group of youngsters, listen to me, youngsters, were there a group of young people that you were running with that thought and acted the same way?
Yeah, I think when I started using drugs in high school, I found myself in a crowd. You know, and I found myself with like-minded individuals, and I started developing what I thought were friendships. Yeah. You know, and you know, it really wasn't. You know, it was just acquaintances. You know, acquaintances.
Ships
you know,
that pass in the night.
People that could get me drugs, stuff like that.
All right. So now we're going along, and you're 17, 18 years old. You're forced to go to AA meetings or CA meetings or NA meetings, whatever meetings you're going to. You're getting a taste of recovery, because when you go to rehab, you're going to get a taste of recovery. And then you leave rehab. What happens then?
So I stayed clean for, I think I had like 6 months. We moved down to Florida after I graduated high school, and I think some point, right, I was 17 when I graduated. Right after my 18th birthday, I started drinking alcohol, and alcohol became like my new drug of choice for many, many years.
Legal, easy to get, that type of thing?
Yeah.
And it did the trick, because all you wanted to do was stop the noises in your head or stop the way you were feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. It made me feel good, you know. I felt like I could joke around with people. I felt comfortable. I felt I felt like I fit in. Like it made me feel like I could carry on a conversation with a girl, like all these things, that normally I would be like hiding inside myself. Now I'm able to like, kind of come out of the shell a little bit. And, that's kind of like what alcohol did for me at first.
So, yeah, there's literature that talks about how it's fun and then the stuff turns on me. It was my best friend, but then it turned on me. Or if it was fun and then it wasn't, or it worked and then it doesn't. And all these things that go along with this come to a point where I reach some sort of bottom. So what was the end? Lead us up to the end.
Okay, so the end. I have 3 years clean. I had 3 years clean on July 7th.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, after I got out of the Navy, I started like using really hard drugs. I had used cocaine before in the past, but I was using a lot of cocaine. Cocaine got expensive. Someone introduced me to meth, and I found my new drug of choice.
When you were in the Navy, you continued drinking because that's what sailors do, correct?
I
I'm
drank
assuming?
while I was in the Navy.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for drinking while I was in the Navy, and the Navy sent me to rehab. Like it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Were you,
But
were you
I was
honorably,
able to function.
were you honorably discharged?
I was honorably discharged.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good, and thanks for your service, by the way. So then you get out and all hell breaks loose because now you can do anything you want. And you're not going to get court-martialed for it.
Right, exactly. I don't have to worry about that piss test anymore, and I'm off to the races. Like I got divorced. I was married while I was in the Navy. I got divorced, got out of the Navy the same month, and I started going hard, and I went hard for a lot of years.
When did you get out of the Navy?
2013.
Okay, so between then and 3 years ago, that was the balls
Yeah.
to the walls type of thing.
Yes.
All right.
So the last year of my addiction, I had, in between then, I had met a woman and I had a child, and I had like some functioning years where I was just drinking and doing cocaine on the weekends and stuff. And I was able to hold a job, but, a year before my clean day, approximately, I picked meth back up, and I can remember like vividly sitting there that night and looking at that bag of dope and thinking like, you know exactly what's going to fucking happen if you take this drug. You know exactly what happens next, right? Like I knew I was going to lose my daughter. I knew I was going to lose the relationship, the house, everything. And I still fucking did it anyways, And I was from that point on a daily meth user until I got clean. And it got to the point where it was meth and fentanyl, and it was IV drug use, and it was, going to jail, becoming homeless, just absolute animalistic lifestyle, complete degradation. I mean, I was in a state of complete hopelessness, and I really didn't think there was a way out, and I was in treatment in San Diego, and I was relapsing in treatment, because I was bound and determined to do this. I was smart enough to figure this disease out. I was smart enough to figure this problem out. I knew if I got enough therapy and I could get to the bottom of what was going on inside my head, that I would be able to stop this problem. And I was going to do it without God, and I was going to do it without a 12-step fellowship, because I had had that previous experience with AA, and I was like, I don't want nothing to do with that, And
it even says you said before this part, you said you looked at that bag of dope and you knew exactly what was going to happen, but you did it anyway. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous says, and I'll paraphrase, at some point we can't bring in with sufficient memory the suffering and loss of a month, a week, or a year ago. We were without defense. We were out without defense because that defense, for me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me that defense has to be grounded in a power greater than myself. Amen. And that's where that defense comes from. This all this stuff that the book talks about contempt prior to investigation. That means, well, this might be good for you, this 12-step stuff, but I tried it. It's not going to work. Meanwhile, I didn't really get a sponsor or a home group, do service work, and actually work the steps, but it's not going to work for me. That's called contempt prior to investigation. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's just I've been where you've been. I've thought exactly like you've thought. So they say that, there's that weird definition. I forget who wrote it. Somewhere in the internet that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The actual definition of insanity is the inability to make a decision based on right or wrong as it applies to an action. However, I made the decision. I knew what was going to happen. See, the fact that I'm going to do the same thing over and over again, and I know what the results are going to be. That's nuts. Because you knew what the results were going to be. All right, so now you're homeless, or where are you now?
I'm in San Diego. I'm kicked out of treatment. I'm on the street, and so
we all have this down period. You ended up naked in a bed, sweating your butt off,
Yep.
and not being able to get out of bed, puking in all over the house,
Yep.
until your sister came and said, either you go to treatment or you're going to be arrested.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
I still had the desire in my heart to get clean, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't keep myself clean. I wanted to get back to my daughter. I wanted to get back in my daughter's life. And I remember, I was getting high with this girl on the street. We were, literally smoking fentanyl in a tent. And I was, telling her, I'm waiting to go back to treatment. The VA is, going to let me back into treatment in a week, and I'm going to go. And I remember her telling me, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And it dawned on me at that point, what a miracle it is to even have the desire to get clean, because it never even occurs to some people to stop.
So you're living in a tent. How are you affording fentanyl?
So I was stealing. I was, shoplifting. Any ways or means I can get more.
Means necessary.
Yeah. It was, animalistic lifestyle.
Yep.
Absolutely. Great way of describing it. Mm-hmm. So what was the point where you said, I can't do this anymore, I need help? I mean, you had visions of that.
Right. So
the girl in the tent.
Yeah.
What was the last straw?
So I'm laying in this homeless shelter in downtown San Diego in a bunk, and I'm going through withdrawals, and I've got a blanket pulled over my head, and I'm crying my eyes out. I don't want anyone to know I'm crying because, and I just broke down, and I asked. At this point in my life, I didn't know if I believed in God. I didn't know if I hated God. But at this point, I asked God for help. I said, please just fix it. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. And the next day, I got on the trolley, and I rode down to the VA in San Diego, and they put me right into treatment. And from that point on, I was on fire for recovery. I had already made connections in Narcotics Anonymous, and I had a sponsor going into treatment, and I was talking to him every day on the phone after groups. And I will say this: while I was on the street, this man would come and he would pick me up from the homeless shelter, and he would take me to meetings and take me out to eat, and it was at this point in my life, people didn't want me around, they didn't want me in the homeless camps. I'm 6'5", I'm a big dude, and when I'm on these runs and I'm out crazy out of my mind, in meth psychosis, the homeless people didn't even want me around. So when I came back to the rooms and people were putting their arms around me and saying, keep coming back, that did something to me, and from that point on, I was just on fire for recovery, man. And while I was in the VA, my disability got approved. I had a huge chunk of money in the bank. All my back pay from the VA came in, and I was scared, man.
What's your disability?
100% PTSD with a history of substance use disorder.
And was that with the PTSD? Was that from being when you were in the service?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just so everybody gets a general knowledge of how this stuff comes together, and so you never looked back after that.
No, I mean, I was a little scared. I was a little scared getting out of treatment, having all that money, but I had the gift of desperation at this point, and I had a little bit of hope, and my dad told me I could move back in with him on the other coast of Florida, and that was going to enable me to see my daughter every once in a while.
So how'd you get from San Diego to here? You were in San Diego, the homeless shelter, the guy that picking you up, taking you out to eat, taking you to meetings. How did you get from there to here? Well, I know, don't say plane. I know.
Yeah, well, I had some money now.
Oh, that's right. You said
I had some money now.
Yeah.
So like that money that the VA gave me, that money enabled me to buy a car. It enabled me to rent my first apartment, furnish my first apartment. Like it was like a godsend, and it's like I don't know how, if I hadn't have done that service in the military and I had found myself in the same position and had to deal with the resources that non-veterans have to deal with, I don't know that I would have ever made it.
Well, we all have different journeys. Eileen, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, if anybody who knows John, when he comes in here, like when he came in here to start working for Kimmies Recovery Zone, he comes in, he's this big dude. He's intimidating, but he is probably the kindest, most loving, sincere man I've met in this work. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting up here. He is so kind with people. He'll sit and talk to them. He works with veterans. He goes to veterans court. Everything that he has been through, he tries to help people not have to go through the same thing he did. You're amazing. And when I tell you I love you, you blow me away. And I mean that.
Thank you, Eileen.
John,
I love you too.
And John, that's what we're set up to do, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what we're, you're the guy. You're the same guy as the guy in San Diego that took you out to eat.
Yes.
You're that guy because you're carrying this, you're paying it forward.
Yeah.
And after having this awakening, we try and carry this message to others.
Yeah.
And practice some principles in all our affairs. What's life like today?
Man, life is good. Like I have
How old's your daughter?
She's 7 years old.
She's so
and I have, I have shared 50-50 custody with her mom. She's with me every week. We have such an amazing relationship. Like, she's the coolest kid. She, like, that relationship, like, fills my cup. You know what I mean? And I get to live life today, and I get to be a dad. I get to be a son. I get to be a father. I get dad, father. I get to be a brother. I get to be a friend. I get to choose life today. And it's amazing. I always thought I was going to find freedom by running away from responsibility, but it turns out like the real freedom was facing all the responsibility and standing up to the responsibilities, and like that's where the freedom has come, and I'm blessed, man. Like, and I have like such a strong faith in my higher power that like I know that things are gonna. They might not continue to get better, like I don't know what my future holds for me, but I know I'm going to be okay, and that's all that matters to me. Like I remember they asked me in treatment, like if you could picture like anything for yourself a year from now, like what would you want? And I just said, I just want to be safe, and it was like, cause living on the street is not safe,
No, it's not.
And like constantly looking over your shoulder, and always worrying about, getting picked up by the police or getting stabbed or whatever it is. It's like, I'm safe today. Like I have a safe house to go to. I have a safe bed to go to tonight. I have an amazing relationship with my family members. I have amazing friends today in Narcotics Anonymous. Like Narcotics Anonymous has completely changed and saved my life, and I owe it all to NA, and like when that man that I was talking about earlier picked me up from treatment that day, we spent the day like driving around and like picking up other addicts. And
Nice.
one guy had just relapsed, and we had to pick him up. And I remember he had to take his shoes off, and he had blisters on the bottom of his shoe on his feet, like from walking the streets. And I was like, that's me, dude. Like I had the blisters, you know what I mean? And Hector, before I got on the plane, he's like, John, he's like, you see how I live my life, you know, like this is what I do. I spend my life like working with other addicts, like from, you know, one day clean to years. He's like, because if we don't do it, nobody will, and we'll die, you know, because, and I was to that point, you know, like people had given up on me. Like I was at that age where like people were like, you know, you're going to have to figure it out on your own, dude. Like we can't rescue you anymore. You know, like this is, you know, and that's what I needed. You know, I needed to be cut off from the lifelines.
Well, speaking of cutting you off, and not to be rude, we're in the sake of time here. I got one good thing that I just thought of as you were going through your thing, that your daughter was probably 4 years old when you got sober. She's 7 now, right? Mm-hmm. So she won't never know her father drunk or high. That is something that is a miracle. Yeah. Now, one other question I have for you, but then we have to go to commercial break, is if you could look into that camera up there and you could say, first of all, did we forget anything that you want to say?
I didn't really have a plan.
Good. Neither did I, so that makes 2 of us. So if you could look into that camera up there, John, and tell another man that might be feeling hopeless, give him some words of encouragement, what would you say?
It gets better. You just have to, I don't know, you just need to, for me, it was a 12-step fellowship. You know, here in Kimmies, we support multiple pathways. I think the opposite of addiction is connection. And if you can find a community somewhere that is a positive community, that community will uplift you. And you just need to not pick up one day at a time, and things will get better. Like, just do the next right thing, keep doing the next right thing. And it's very overwhelming at first, but one day you'll look back and be like, damn, all that shit's gone.
Yep.
And my life is okay now.
Give John a big round of applause, everybody.
Good job, John.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Al Kinkle, the founder, and creator of Kimmies Recovery Zone, as we do a portion of the show called Kimmy's Corner. We'll be back right after this.
Good job. Good.
Struggling with life's challenges? At The Next Step, we're here to guide you to a brighter tomorrow. Whether it's counseling, recovery support, or simply finding hope, we provide the tools and community to help you rise. Take the first step toward healing today. Visit thenextstep.org and discover how we can support your journey to wellness. Remember, every step forward is a step toward a better you. The Next Step, your path to hope, starts here. With offices in Fort Myers and Naples, 844-639-8371.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Feeling trapped in addiction? White Sands Treatment Center offers more than just detox. We build lasting recovery. With 3 inpatient and 18 outpatient locations located throughout Florida, we offer services from medically supervised detox to inpatient, outpatient, and sober living programs. Our services include individual therapy, family therapy, life skills, and small group sizes. Our amenities include yoga and massage therapy with recreational activities, including gyms, pools, and spa. Newsweek has named White Sands one of America's best addiction treatment centers 5 years in a row. You deserve quality care in a safe, supportive setting. Call White Sands Helpline at 833-423-2338 or visit whitesandstreatment.com and start your recovery journey today.
Welcome to Holy Spark. At Holy Spark, we bring power and reliability to every job. From panel upgrades and EV chargers to lighting installations and troubleshooting, we're dedicated to keeping your home and business running safely and efficiently. With expert craftsmanship, honest service, and free estimates, you can count on us to deliver electrical solutions that shine bright. Contact us today at holy-spark.net or call 239-789-6832.
Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bell Bonds. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2245, 239-332-2245, or go online at gobailmeout.com. Shamrock Bell Bonds provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bell Bonds, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Look for the Shamrock, and maybe luck will be on your side.
Hello, I'm Michael Manzi, owner of JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673. When starting this company 3 years ago, I had no clue that we would grow to what we have become. There is one thing I can say that we have done from the beginning is take pride in our work, making sure every customer we do work for is satisfied from beginning to end. Offering residential painting all the way to commercial painting with jobs done in a timely manner, with highly skilled professionals giving you top-of-the-line work. To help you create your new look, call JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673.
Struggling with addiction? You're not alone. At Phoenix House Project, we believe in second chances and brighter tomorrows. Our proven programs offer support, hope, and tools to rebuild your life. With expert care and a community that understands, transformation starts here. It's time to rise, reclaim your life, and become the best version of yourself. Visit phoenixhouseproject.squarespace.com today or call 239-244-7876. The journey to recovery begins with sober living. Phoenix House Project, where hope takes flight.
Kimmies Recovery Zone, where hope meets action. We're here to guide the journey from treatment to thriving, healthy living. With peer support, public education, and vital resources like housing, employment, and Narcan training, we're building stronger communities. Ready to make an impact? Together, we're creating a network of recovery, resilience, and renewed lives. Kimmies Recovery Zone, your hub for healing and hope. Visit us online today at kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. It's not how we survive, it's how we thrive.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery, ratedrforrecovery.com. Once again, just to remind everybody that to watch us on YouTube. If you could, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, and, of course, the Podcast Playground, which is one of our supporters that supports our show. The second segment of the show is called Kimmy's Corner, which features Al Kinkle from Kimmies Recovery Zone. As we partnered with Kimmies Recovery Zone starting in a few months ago, I think back in February, and it's worked out very well. So everybody give Al a nice round of applause. Hi, Al. Hi, Al.
Hello, John. How are you?
I am well. I am well. For some reason, I can't hear you in my head.
Because I don't have them on.
No, that wouldn't. Now I can hear you in my head.
Can you hear?
I can hear you now in my head.
Okay.
Those voices in my head, Al.
Well, voices are in all our heads, but we can't let them get us down. At any rate, we're so blessed tonight. We have Carolina Ferrer today. Yes. And we're excited about her. She's a neighbor of ours. But the beautiful part about this, we met probably, I would say, around 9-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Carolina was at the hospital working, and I had come in there. It was right after Kimmy had passed, and I came in and talked to Carolina at length. And at that time, you were in the hospital helping mommies and people like that and doing God's work. And we got along real well then, and we have a long relationship. So, you know, what an honor it is for us to have you here tonight, Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way.
Yeah, you want to say something before I go on for an hour and a half?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how we're going to pull this off because you can talk and I can talk and,
Oof, we're
they
trouble.
they may need to cut us off.
Yeah.
But no, first I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I truly believe that, you don't realize or recognize where your paths continue to cross and lead you. But I have a special love for the substance abuse community, for mental health, obviously as a social worker in humble beginnings. And I really think that that was a great opportunity at that time because I don't even know how it all fully aligned. I think I met you and then I just poured your heart with your grief of your daughter, and my heart just connected. And I said, there is something, he's an angel, there's something you're going to do. And you had all of these dreams and plans. And, to be in relationship with somebody and see those dreams that we once talked about on the phone at 5:30 after I would leave the hospital and see you do it. And do it boldly and do it with love and then come around community, that to me is an answered prayer because I think we all need a Kimmies Recovery.
Thank you. That's very generous of you to make those comments. And one of I think the biggest mistakes you made when we first met was to give me your home phone number. Of course, in those days, just building this whole dream up, and it was really overtakes you when you want to do something for the community after a loss of someone that you love so much. And that was really what we were trying to do, is just to make sure that other people could find help easier than they had maybe before, and just make it easier for them, and we can make a difference in this community. And that's basically what we're all about. We just want to make a difference and hold people's hands until they see the light. And I think so far God's really put us on a great path, and I appreciate that so much. So Carolina, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to do Carolina's. What was the inspiration there? You kind of mentioned it, but I'd say what do you think drove you to really do what you're doing now, which is unbelievable work?
Yeah. That is, let me see how I can put that in a very short sentence because we could be here forever. But what I would say is 2020, between 2019, right, we were all in fear-based. COVID was happening, our lives were changing, and I think there's research that I have pulled up that says, for some people, COVID became a very transformative time of an event where you started looking at yourself going, okay, is this it? Like, is this what I'm going to do? And at that time, I worked at the hospital. I worked at Lee Golazano Children's, and I worked with mental health and substance abuse and being exposed all the time. And there was a lot of opposition when you are an underdog and you love the underdog population, and there's systems in place that you want to do additional quality measures. I love Lee, nothing against them, but I think they helped me to understand that I wanted to do more. And I was limited at that time to fully do quality measures that were out of the box. And the birthing happened of Carolina's compassionate counseling. And I can only attest, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I believe in God and I believe in Jesus, and I truly believe that He gave me the revelation of peace in your mind, balance in your body, healing in your spirit. And I remember I had so much, my own self mentally when you're working in trauma and ICU and trying to help people. I actually paused during 2020, paused and said, God, what's next? And I think there's key in pausing. There's key in understanding that maybe we could do things the same way, or we can pause and do it a different way. And I really believe that's the birthing of Carolina's Compassionate was not even, but I would have never said that I would have started a business or created this. I always just did it for the agencies. But God was like, you're ready.
Yeah, and sometimes that works out for us really well because we want to help so much, and sometimes we find our own pathway to be able to help people. And you certainly have changed things a lot around here, and you're certainly helping a lot of people. So your own life experience has shaped you into what you're doing today, and anything in particular surrounding, friends, family that also drove you to this area of our lives?
Yeah, I
The
mean,
brain, the brain.
yeah. I would say, my whole life has been in social work. I came to this country when I was 10 years old. First generation American. My parents sacrificed to bring us here. And I could tell you that my life was a very humble beginning life coming to the United States. My parents worked to put, roof over our heads, and we didn't have money, but we had a lot of love. And that there was one thing about community and church when we came that they wrapped their arms around us because we didn't have anything. And I remember that the representation of you may not have the financial, but you have community, which is what I love what John said, because let's get around community. And that's why I think the dream of you and I talking about Kimmies Recovery is because we cannot do it alone. We're not meant to do life alone. We're meant to do it in partnerships. And I think if people get out of the isolated ways of fear or anxiety or, judgment or guilt, whatever it is that keeps us isolated, and we come with authenticity to say, I need help. I really believe that the humble beginnings for me coming to this country and going to school and helping my family and my parents not speaking English and getting the lead tram bus, which if anybody's done the lead tram bus, you got to wait an hour. So I think like my whole life was a representation of social work. Right. I just didn't understand it at that time. So there's people that have book knowledge, right, that have a degree, and then there's people that walk it, that it's like this is who you are because you've had a rough life. Right? And I think that's the difference of when I say I have, these degrees and I help people. I've been there. I know what it is not to have anything. I know what it is to go to a food pantry. I know nobody's telling me this because I read it. I've been that. And I'm humble enough to accept that and to also understand that we all need authenticity, where other people can give us the space to be who we are and love us regardless.
Well, you said the one word, and I think that's it. Fear. Fear is probably one of our biggest enemies in the world. Fear and not believing in yourself. Like John was sitting up here. You have to believe in yourself, and then you also have to believe in other people, that the connections that we make are the things that change us. And, and having fear to make that first step is one of the biggest obstacles we have. I mean, I know for myself it's been that way,
Yeah.
So being bilingual, how are we reaching out? Are we doing a good job of reaching out into our community in the bilingual issue that we have? Are we reaching out to a lot of those folks? I'd like to do a better job doing that. And what do you think we could do to reach out into that community a little deeper than we have?
Yeah. What I say is, just like you said, fear, I think the fear of language, the fear of being judged, the fear of not knowing or understanding culture really is the first barrier. I think when we can wrap around additional resources, right? Like I'm bilingual, and I can count, there's not a lot of us. There's not a lot of us that also are Christian-based. There's also, you go into these, limited pockets in Southwest Florida to understand holistically how to heal, because that's the other thing. You could do the therapeutic piece, but not be able to not walk it with the people. And I think that's the difference. People know bullshit, and I love Jesus, so forgive me, but people know BS.
He does.
And he knows, and I think we know when people BS us, so let's just own, listen, we can do a better job. That's the first step, is awareness.
Yeah.
And the second step is, let's get around a village of other communities, right? Churches that have that. And I want to say, we all got something.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we just need to be humble enough to say, I think the Latino population is very, very much in isolation. They are, don't talk about things, don't do things, put it under the rug. And I think there's shame and guilt around that. So can we do better? Absolutely. And we could do better with the Caucasian community. We could do better with the Black community. Like, I believe, I know it's all lives matter, but truly, women community, the men's community, senior community. I really believe in Southwest Florida we could always do a better job.
Yeah, I've seen that. Before we used to, what you're talking about, the isolation, like when I was growing up, that's what we were isolated. We didn't talk about anything. We didn't, it was something that you held close to your. And I think the pride of groups that come into this country, especially, they have that same thing going on.
Right.
And that's something that I always try to change. And I think, like I said, I want to try to do a better job of that. And you kind of gave me a few hints. Maybe we'll partner together and you can work at 5 o'clock at night till midnight.
Yeah. Tell my husband that.
Oh, jeez. Never
He
mind.
already thinks I work too much, but this is a servant leader work that doesn't have off and on hours, as you know. But we do have to have a balanced life when we serve. That's a very important, so we can be long-term.
So, and what you're doing now, I mean, your favorite part of that, as you can explain that a little bit. I mean, the favorite part of working with somebody is sort of like how we do it here. What a joy that you get when you see somebody improving and taking those steps. Maybe baby steps in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they're full blown and they're taking deep steps to come into recovery. So. What's a lesson the recovery community has taught you that you carry into your counseling work?
Yeah. A very special love when I worked at the hospital, and I created with this program called Pampering and Pregnancies and Encouraging Recovery. That was probably, there were women that were just not understood. And men and fathers that were not understood because of the substance abuse and mental health. So I can tell you that I was always a hopeless romantic, that they could change, that they would change, that I wouldn't give up on somebody. And I truly believe that when we believe it, whether we see it or not, that is not up to us. But when we plant the seed of hope, it's up to that individual to then do something with that. Because I think a lot of us in this world feel very hopeless, feel limited with what we can because we want to do more at times. So I think the substance abuse community reminded me that I just didn't give up. I did not give up, even when I would look at the research that there would be repeat offenders every year, multiple women that would come and that would set them up for treatment, and I said, this is not about me. This is about that individual and that walk. But what I can tell you is I'm going to walk with love. I'm going to walk with no judgment, because if I was that person, what type of service would I want to get?
Right.
And I think that when we put ourselves in the humility, because we may not understand, right? Some people don't understand mental health, don't understand substance abuse because, they struggle a different way, right? And they judge. And I think that for me is like a catalyst in my heart of just love people for who they are and where they are today.
We say here, love is the answer. So that is the answer. That has all the makeup of a great answer to a lot of problems that we have. We don't share enough of love in our communities. But I can tell you, again, we talk about it a lot around here. This community has jumped leaps and bounds into that area where all the people that we collaborate with in this community really do show love and show a lot of love and give hope. You know, if you're loving somebody and then you're giving them hope, you got them on the right direction. And then some of the organizations that we have, what a powerful job they've done in this community. So I think things are changing for the better. I think people have to understand right now almost everybody's affected in some way, shape, or form, either directly or indirectly with mental health and substance use disorder. Yes. And as we talked about 9 or 10 years ago, that it's always been mental health and substance use disorder. I strongly believe in that. I get arguments for that because sometimes it is just mental health, but if it is mental health and substance use disorder, it's a rough game to play. It really is, you know. So it makes it twice as hard. But again, I got to give this community and the people that I know working with us here. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do a thing that we're doing. So that shows me that people believe in other people's recovery. And that's really, I think, a big step going on right now around here. I'm pretty excited about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and I think that fire lights other fire, right? Like when somebody believes in you, then, and we continue to pass that, it's, we're spreading love, we're spreading that awareness. I think we need to do a better job in prevention, and continuing to do that and normalizing, just like, you know, and I have a dream. I know maybe that's not the question you're asking me, but
tell me your dream.
So, you know, you may not.
See what we can do.
I mean, I have dreams. Go ahead.
You know, it's a continuation of how
yes.
the background that people like Eileen, myself, and John have of 12-Step Fellowship.
Yes.
Because that's what we do amongst ourselves.
Absolutely.
What's happening now is through people like you and people like Al, we are incorporating people that aren't necessarily addicts and alcoholics to create awareness and community, because there's unity in community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going to steal that. That's great, John.
I
like
love
that.
it.
Really.
I didn't make it
Thank
up.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
And he stole it.
I
from
have no
someone.
original ideas.
We all steal from each other.
We steal or we borrow, and then we give back.
But, you know, it's so interesting to see working with the sheriff's departments and, first responders, and just what a big difference working in the court systems. Tomorrow we're working with the court system tomorrow, I think, Eileen. And, yeah, right? Reentry program. I mean, it's just a blessing to see all this all coming down, you know, from the top of the mountain, coming right on down to us, man. It's such an honor to be able to sit here and play a small part in changing people's lives. And that's, again, I think everybody in their heart and soul wants to see everybody do better. And I said, but a lot of people don't do it because they don't understand. They have fear, or they're just stuck in the real causes of what they are.
Yeah.
You know,
or they want to be in denial, you know, because if they are aware of that, then that means they should do something, right? And I think if we don't want to see it, we choose not to see it. But once we are aware of it, then I think our desire is to acknowledge that there's a piece of each one of us that we could do something.
Right.
And then the action plan is associated to that, which is plan to act differently.
So
John,
what
give us
prevents me
something.
from doing that? The only thing that prevents me from moving forward is pride and ego. And pride and ego's basis is what Al said before, is fear. False evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. It's not real. It's a lie from the other side.
Right.
And if you are a believer, then the opposite of fear is faith.
Right.
So keep praying, everybody.
Yes.
That's right. We need more.
I'm done
more
again.
Of that.
John, I love it, man.
My
Yeah.
God,
Yeah,
he got
give John
inspired today. I got to come on a little bit more often. Look at all this.
Well, Carolina, before we go any further, and Al probably had this to ask, but I need to know something here. How do people listening at home get in touch with you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So we are actually in the Gateway community, and they're able to call our 239-645-3866. That is our business line. They can also find us on Facebook, Carolina'sCompassionateCounseling.com, and also on the web. I can tell you that I am constantly posting different things and just bringing community awareness.
And you're on the Facebook too, aren't
And
you?
we are on the Facebook,
Very
and
good.
we're following you. So all
Yes.
my followers,
Yeah.
I'm hoping will continue to support the Rated for Recovery and Kimmies Recovery, because this is a very special thing
Well-
that,
well-
I'm very happy to be here.
And thank you. I'm happy you are here. And I think that we would do each other a favor if we probably work together a little bit more
Yes.
to try to double up and try to make
Yes.
a bigger difference in the community. So before you leave, what message do you want to give to the community before we walk away from here? Real strong and powerful. Then, John, I'd like you to give a message after that, and same message, okay?
Absolutely. So I think what has always been on my heart is the importance of prevention. You know, I think from higher levels, I think a lot of us are sometimes reactive versus, you know, being proactive. And when I say that is when a child leaves the hospital, they are to be seeing a pediatrician, right? When we're discharged from the hospital, we typically have to follow up. What I find the most interesting in practicing 20 years in the Southwest Florida area, and it's not just here, it's everywhere, is that we do not truly do preventative care. Why do I say that? Because research says that 1 out of 4 people have some level of mental health. I think that's more. And substance abuse is even higher. So if we have genetic predispositions, right, to cancer, to Alzheimer's, to all this, the medical model is to get genetic testing, right? The medical model is to try to see what we could do to not pass on that to the next generation. What I find interesting in mental health is that even though my mom has anxiety or, you know, and my mom actually didn't have anxiety. She passed away from cancer, you know, when I was 22 years old, which was also a pivotal thing of why I do what I do. I worked in the hospital, and I was in the hospital so often that that's why I love the hospital setting, because I've been there and I know that people need that love. But what I find is that if we have a predisposition to substance abuse or mental health, we don't go check our children in early on. By 4 or 5, when they're checking pediatrician, right, they have to leave the hospital with a pediatrician appointment. What are we doing to go engage them in therapy, to go engage them into the community of resources, to engage them in the additional things? Because the mind is part of the body. We think, you know, medical is just the blood work and all of these things, but it's after we're already too late in it that we're like, oh, we're in crisis. That's when we're looking for therapy. That's when we're looking for treatment plan. Like, we never really did it early on to normalize that the mind needed treatment. So when these opportunities came, right, that somebody offered you drugs and alcohol, and because it is going to happen, right?
Sure.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll try that.
You know, I really believe that then we have a better handle. You know, is therapy the only source? No, we need God, we need Jesus, we need community, we need prayer, we need all of the things. But I truly believe that it starts normalizing mental health and substance abuse in the home, saying, listen, if I have a predisposition to diabetes, be aware don't be eating that much sugar. Yeah. When we have a predisposition to mental health or substance abuse, because my grandfather had alcoholism, do you think we check anybody in? No. So I'm going to tell you, this is my dream, that just like everybody has a physical, just like we got to get a colonoscopy done at 40, just like how we have to do all these preventative things, that we normalize coming into therapy, that there's funding associated to therapy, because, you know, in quality measures that actually create some level of prevention.
And John, before you answer that also, I'm going to answer my feelings about that. Preschool through college, we should be taught all these things and all these emotions, and that we might have all these things that we inherit. And I think that's what we don't do in the schools all the way up. And not just the schools, at home, you know, but go you know, how to eat, what to eat, and all those kind of things. Right. You know, right. So at any rate, thank you so much. And John, why don't you take a little shot at that answer?
Well, I think one of the word I heard, if I'm going to take a word out of what you said, that word was pause. That was the word that I wrote down when you said it. Because if I'm watching a TV show or I'm listening to music or I'm watching a movie, I can hit the pause button. And so when I feel indecision or I don't have the right answers, I pause when I'm agitated or doubtful. If I don't have the right answers, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I believe that because of pausing and asking, that the answers will come if my own house is in order. But obviously, I can't give away something I haven't got. Right. So now I'm quoting something now. This is not me. I don't make up anything. So I need to see that my relationship is right.
Right.
And great events will come. And great events will come from me and countless others. That's the great fact to ourselves. This is the quoting part. I'm quoting. Yes. It says, "Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Give away your problems and give freely of what you have and join us. So you'll be on the road of happy destiny you'll be on the road to, I forget the rest, but you'll be on, I forget. So just be with us as we trudge the road of happy destiny."
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you,
I like
John.
the beginning. It didn't end well. But give Carolina a nice round of applause, everybody. Al, as always, great job. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have a special musical guest because what is a podcast? A podcast needs to be somewhat entertaining. So while Al and I are mildly entertaining, we have a great entertainer. He was one of the stars of the 1980s big hair band movements. We have the bass player and backup vocalist from the band W.A.S.P, Johnny Rod, will be entertaining us right after this.
Hey, Johnny.
Woohoo!
Johnny Rod.
Struggling with life's challenges? At the Next Step, we're here to guide you to a brighter tomorrow. Whether it's counseling, recovery support, or simply finding hope, we provide the tools and community to help you rise. Take the first step toward healing today. Visit thenextstep.org and discover how we can support your journey to wellness. Remember, every step forward is a step toward a better you. The Next Step, your path to hope, starts here. With offices in Fort Myers and Naples, 844-639-8371.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, attorney at law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Feeling trapped in addiction? White Sands Treatment Center offers more than just detox. We build lasting recovery. With 3 inpatient and 18 outpatient locations located throughout Florida, we offer services from medically supervised detox to inpatient, outpatient, and sober living programs. Our services include individual therapy, family therapy, life skills, and small group sizes. Our amenities include yoga and massage therapy with recreational activities, including gyms, pools, and spa. Newsweek has named White Sands one of America's best addiction treatment centers 5 years in a row. You deserve quality care in a safe, supportive setting. Call White Sands Helpline at 833-423-2338 or visit whitesandstreatment.com and start your recovery journey today.
Welcome to Holy Spark. At Holy Spark, we bring power and reliability to every job. From panel upgrades and EV chargers to lighting installations and troubleshooting, we're dedicated to keeping your home and business running safely and efficiently. With expert craftsmanship, honest service, and free estimates, you can count on us to deliver electrical solutions that shine bright. Contact us today at holy-spark.net or call 239-789-6832.
Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bell Bonds. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2245, 239-332-2245, or go online at gobailmeout.com. Shamrock Bell Bonds provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bell Bonds, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Look for the Shamrock, and maybe luck will be on your side.
Hello, I'm Michael Manzi, owner of JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673. When starting this company 3 years ago, I had no clue that we would grow to what we have become. There is one thing I can say that we have done from the beginning is take pride in our work, making sure every customer we do work for is satisfied from beginning to end. Offering residential painting all the way to commercial painting with jobs done in a timely manner, with highly skilled professionals giving you top-of-the-line work. To help you create your new look, call JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673.
Struggling with addiction? You're not alone. At Phoenix House Project, we believe in second chances and brighter tomorrows. Our proven programs offer support, hope, and tools to rebuild your life. With expert care and a community that understands, transformation starts here. It's time to rise, reclaim your life, and become the best version of yourself. Visit phoenixhouseproject.squarespace.com today or call 239-244-7876. The journey to recovery begins with sober living. Phoenix House Project, where hope takes flight.
Kimmies Recovery Zone, where hope meets action. We're here to guide the journey from treatment to thriving, healthy living. With peer support, public education, and vital resources like housing, employment, and Narcan training, we're building stronger communities. Ready to make an impact? Together, we're creating a network of recovery, resilience, and renewed lives. Kimmies Recovery Zone, your hub for healing and hope. Visit us online today at kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. It's not how we survive, it's how we thrive.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rated R for Recovery. That's Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com. You know that song that we come back, that's called a rejoiner, Johnny, that comes back when we come back from commercial? That was a song that was written by Charlie Colleen, the bass player, backup vocalist, and songwriter for the band Train.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote that song, then re-recorded it with Skunk Baxter and Danny Beisel on vocals.
Skunk Baxter.
Let's see, Barry Goudreau from the rock band Boston.
Yeah.
All these people got together on Martha's Vineyard, re-recorded the song, what you heard right there, and then gave it to us for the show, which was a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, Charlie didn't make it. Charlie's one of these people that the addiction took his life, and he died in Brussels of an overdose. A little over a year ago.
Sometimes I can't figure it out. My wife. Some of us have to go, and some of us are still here. I can't figure it out.
It's the divine plan that God has, and we don't have to figure it out.
I can't.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Rated R for Recovery, backed by popular demand.
I'm not sure about that.
The ex-bass player and backup vocalist for the band W.A.S.P. W.A.S.P. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Johnny Rod.
You know, man, I just want to say one thing is that I can relate to like what John was talking about, and this program, AA, is a spiritual program. I'll tell you why. In the big book on page 83 and 84 in the Promises, where it says, I suddenly realized that God was doing for me what I could not do for myself, because for many, many years I tried to do it all for myself, and I couldn't do it. And these promises are true, man. I'm sitting here, a miracle, living proof that God is doing for me what I could not do for myself. Okay, so, and I got this gift of sobriety that was given to me by my higher power, okay? And as long as I realize and know that I'm powerless every day, because I have to be powerless, otherwise I can't know my higher power. If I believe I have power, what do I need God for, right? So I need my higher power, so I am powerless. And so the gift that he's given me, I want to use for whatever, for the service, man, for service, just because you gotta give it away, man. What he gives you, you can't keep it, you got to give it away. But these are a couple songs that, like, I grew up with. And when I was growing up, man, these songs, I didn't think about them when I was young, but I realized when I listen to the words now, there was like spiritual meaning in them, And so this is like one of them. This is one of kind of about anger, when, No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be jaded, to telling only lies. But my feelings, they are as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. No one knows what it's like to feel these feelings like I do. And I blame you. No one backs the Lord from my city. None of my feelings can show through. But my dreams, they are as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. But this one is spiritual, man, because I can always run back. If I slip on what it is, man, to run back to my higher power, and that's AA and my higher power. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. Again, I lay it all down again. I lay it down again, yeah. To hear you say that I'm your friend. This is to my God. You are my desire. Take me back to you. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are there. That's right, man. Don't run him back. Don't run away from it. From him, run back to God, man. That's right. That's what I do. No matter what the slip. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. I gotta lay it down every morning, man. I lay it all down to you. To know that you are with me too. Draw me close to you. Take me back again. You're all I want. You're all I ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are there. Help me know you are there. Yeah. Help me know you are there. Help me know. Help me, Lord Jesus. Yeah. Help my faith. I know that you're there. Help me know you are there. Yeah. That is true, man. I mean, that's what I learned, man. Like AA, if I slip, I'm not ashamed. Run back to it, man. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Because you know what? Nobody's better than anyone. None of you. I love these meetings. I love this program because nobody's any better than anybody else. So, I feel right at home with a bunch of mutants like me. I love it. One more? You want one more? Oh, man. Okay. She was talking about mental health. Carolina, yeah, you talk about mental health. We wrote, a friend of mine, Tim Ryan, out in Colorado Springs, he wrote the lyrics for this. I wrote the music. And he wrote a whole album about mental health and bipolar and that, because I was diagnosed bipolar. I don't know what that means exactly. I know what it means, but who knows? I look in the mirror. What am I? I don't know. But I know that we wrote this album about mental illness, and this song's called So Tell Me. And I wrote the music, he wrote the lyrics. Check this out. So tell me what it's like not being bipolar, and tell me what it's like to not be me. 'Cause I want to know what it's like to not be me. The suffering every night is just too much for me. Tell me what it's like to not be me. Tell me what it's like not waking up at 3. The stars very bright tonight. I wonder if our lives can match tonight. So tell me what it's like to be alright, 'cause I don't know how. 'Cause I want to know what it's like to not be me. Suffering every night, I don't want to be. Tell me what it's like to not be me. Tell me what it's like so I can maybe be free. I want to know, I want to understand what it's like to not be me. So tell me what it's like to not be me. I want to know what it's like to not be me. Because I want to know what it's like to be normal. I'm not sure what normal is. I don't know, but all I know is that he wrote
that.
These
Was
lyrics,
awesome
man.
because
Yeah.
we all struggle with certain things, and it's good to get ourselves out. Be able to talk about what we struggle about, whether it be through song, poetry, or just to voice it,
Yeah.
because music is the language of the heart. For right now, ladies and gentlemen listening at home, we want to thank you for tuning in. Remember, like us, subscribe on the YouTube, and we'll see you next week. You've been listening to Rated R for Recovery and RatedRforRecovery.com. Good night.